Imam Junaid al-Baghdadi rahimahullah, he has a beautiful legacy. One of the stories he mentions is that he says, I learned sincerity from a barber. SubhanAllah. You can learn from anybody, right? So he said, I learned sincerity from a barber. He's a great Imam, and he was a scholar. And Imam al-Dhahabi, Imam Ibn Taymiyyah, Imam Ibn Kathir, Imam al-Subki, all of them say he was an Imam, meaning he had knowledge of the religion. But he says, I learned Islam from a barber. He said, I was in Mecca and I needed to have my hair shaved. So I saw a barber and I said, can you shave my head for the sake of Allah? But the barber, he was cutting somebody else's hair. So he left the person and he said, get up, let Junaid sit down. He said, you didn't finish my haircut. He said, for the sake of Allah. The sake of Allah comes first. So then he cut Junaid's hair. And then he gave Junaid some money. He realized that maybe he wasn't having a lot of money. So Junaid, he said, I told myself, if I find any money, if I get any gift, I'm going to bring it to this barber. He did me a favor. So somebody gave him some money, and he came and found the barber. And he said, here, this is for you. He said, what is this? He said, it's a gift, because you gave me a haircut. He said, you think I'm going to do something for the sake of Allah and take a gift? You said for the sake of Allah, and I did it for the sake of Allah. I don't want it. So he said, I learned sincerity from a barber, subhanAllah. So who is Junaid rahimahullah? Imam al-Junaid, he grew up, he lived in the land of Baghdad. He came from Persia, from Iran and those areas, but he migrated to Baghdad, and he grew up there, and he lived in a very righteous family. One of his maternal uncle was a great scholar, I think Muhasibi, one of the great scholars, so he learned a lot about Islam at his young age. And they say when he was about 7 years old, he overheard a conversation and people were saying, what is gratitude? What is shukr? So Junaid, as a little boy, he said, shukr is using every blessing Allah gave you in a way that pleases Him. That's what shukr is, being grateful. Whenever Allah blesses you, use it in something that Allah loves. So that little boy, they said, this boy is a very smart boy. And he grew up learning Islam. And something that we need to talk about here is, in that time in Baghdad, there was a lot of wealth. If you might have heard of Baytul Hikmah, the greatest library in the world, Harun al-Rashid, and the Abbasid Caliphate. Baghdad was not only the capital of Islam, it was the capital of the entire world. And it was very, very